to the channel. Today I've got the very popular Honda GB350S out on a first impressions ride. So if you want to see what I think to the bike and what my initial thoughts are, jump on the passenger seat and I'll take you all for a ride. The engine is a 348cc 4-stroke single with a max power output of 15.5 kilowatts at 5,500 RPM. The gearbox is a 5-speed manual with a slipper clutch. The exhaust is single-sided. The fuel tank capacity is a very impressive 15 litres. Handlebar controls, we have the indicators, horn and flasher on the left, and on the right we've got the start and the hazards. The speedo is analogue, there is a tiny LED screen to the right hand side. The front suspension is a telescopic fork with 106mm of travel. The rear suspension is a twin shock with 120mm of travel. Front brakes are a 310mm disc with a twin pot Nissan caliper. Rear brakes are a 240mm disc with a Nissan single pot caliper. The front headlights and indicators are all LED. Rear lights and indicators are also LED. The seat height is 800mm. The front wheel is a black cast aluminium and it is 19-inch in diameter. The rear wheel is a 17-inch and again is a cast aluminium in black. The bike comes with a helmet lock as standard. This bike is also running the pannier rails, which is an optional extra. Both the handguards and the screen pictured here are optional extras. The bike has a steel cradle frame and weighs 178 kgs. This is the blue colour. You can also choose black metallic or grey. Let's do a little acceleration test off the line to see how it performs. First gear, here we go. And the stop. Second, and the stop. Third. Fourth. Fifth. So, not too bad. You're not going to win any races, but that's not what it's all about with this bike. So after a short while of riding, I can confirm that the Honda GB350 is an absolutely cracking bike for around town and a bit of urban riding. The lightweightness of the bike, the sharp handling, the clutch is so light as well, so when you're in and out of traffic it's absolutely a joy to ride. filtering's no problem whatsoever. You can get through the tightest gaps, and yeah, I think this bike is ideally suited for a commuting bike and around town. Remains to be seen what it's like out on the open road, but so far so good. So I've spent the morning out on the Honda GB350S, and as expected it handled the urban riding element without any issues whatsoever and was a pleasure, especially in traffic. Nice and lightweight, quick to handle, manoeuvre around easy enough, and plenty of power just to whiz in and out of the traffic. But what did surprise me was how it handled the country roads and the B roads, even up at like national speed limits. It was a joy to ride, and it was really nice handling actually. Didn't take much to tip it in and hold the line through a corner, so that really pleased me. I've got to say, so far I am impressed with the bike. Now, low cc powered bikes are not something which I go for. They're really not my cup of tea at all. But because this bike has been selling so well, and there seems to be a huge market now for these lower powered bikes, I thought maybe it's time to revisit and have a look at them and see if there's something which I'm missing, because they seem so popular nowadays that everybody can't be wrong. So I thought, get in touch with Honda, see if you've got one of these which I can loan for a couple of weeks, give it a good test out and see what my thoughts are overall and whether it changed my opinions on the bikes. And so far, I've got to say, it's definitely pleased me, as I say, in the urban riding element and the smaller country roads. I don't think it will change my opinion as a bike which I would own outright, or would be my only bike which I owned, because I do too much mileage, and which includes motorways and dual carriageways and that kind of things, and a lot of touring, and I don't think it would satisfy my needs in that respect. But around town, as I say, around the cities, commuting to work on short distances, I think this bike would be absolutely ideal. Now, one thing which is also good is the size of the tank. I believe it's around 15 litres. Now, that combined with the 350 engine, you're not going to be spending much time in petrol stations, which is obviously a great bonus. But a couple of things already which I'm not too keen on is the chrome work on the exhaust here and on the engine covering there. For me, it cheapens the look of the bike and really doesn't add anything whatsoever. I would prefer that just to be black and tie in with the colour scheme down there. Also, this panel here, I think I would prefer that to be in the tank colour as well. I'm just a bit unsure on that panel at the moment. The mirrors, the bars on them are too short. They need to be longer. They're very adjustable. You can turn them in numerous directions. I can't fault that, but they do not stick out far enough. You're losing so much vision with your shoulders. So whether they need to be longer bars or they need to be bar end mirrors to solve that issue, that's something which would need looking at. The biggest thing for me, which I absolutely hate on this bike, is the speedo. It's got a 1991 Ford Sierra vibe about it. I really think that is a disappointment. I would love to have seen a round binnacle for a speedo and possibly one for a rev counter, just to make it look retro. And then in the middle, put a USB port, so you've got somewhere to charge your phone directly from. I do think you can get a USB added as an extra somewhere on the bike, but I'd have to have a look at that. But for me, that kind of layout there would have just been absolutely perfect for this bike. Going around to the front, This has got the optional screen on there. Now today it's January and it's very cold, and this has kept quite a lot of wind shear and wind blast off my face. So it has definitely done its job today. Possibly in summer I would be looking at dropping that off the bike to give it a more stripped back look. The wheels, I absolutely love spoked wheels on a bike and on a retro bike and classic bikes. This has got the sort of matte black alloy wheels. Now there's nothing wrong with them, they are perfectly acceptable, but I think I would have liked to have seen some spokes on there, but maybe that would just affect the cost, the manufacturing cost too much, so obviously there is that to consider. Also we've got the optional handguards on here. When I first saw them I wasn't really a fan of them, but again, the same as the screen, they've really performed a function today and kept quite a lot of wind off my hands. So possibly use them in winter, take them off for summer is probably what I would be looking at. The seat is absolutely lovely, really comfortable, and most importantly for me, very grippy. You're not sliding up and down the bike with every acceleration or with every braking, because I absolutely hate that on bikes. I have a couple of bikes myself which are like that, and for me it's just a terrible design issue. This is not like that. It's really grippy, really comfortable, as I said, and it's very much like the last Honda I rode, the Honda Africa. So obviously Honda know how to make a decent seat. This bike came with the pannier rails, and I have got the panniers to go on there. Now, I don't like the look of panniers on any bike, but this bike with the panniers on makes it really useful, especially as a commuter bike. You can put so much gear into those the panniers, and it saves carrying a rucksack as well, which is really useful, and that's something I absolutely hate doing. We've got pillion footrest down at the bottom here. A nice touch by Honda. We've got this little plate here which catches your heel on the back to stop it resting on the exhaust and burning your foot on there. I don't think I've seen that on any other bike before, so that's a nice touch there. Nice and lightweight, easy to throw in. So I'm riding back now after spending a full day on the Honda GB350, and I've got to say, in many ways it surprised me, but in other ways it's as I imagined it to be. As I said earlier, around town, absolutely ideal, can't fault it whatsoever, but I did have questions on what it would be like on A roads, twisty stuff, and a little bit faster roads. Well, it's answered those questions for me. Anything up to 60 mile an hour is absolutely fine, and it's absolutely fun as well. You can really throw the bike into the bends and into the corners, and it will hold a lovely line. It's so well balanced, and it handles so well. It's really set up great out of the box. One thing I really like is the clutch. Especially on the downshifts, you can whack it down a couple of gears, drop your clutch, and it'll slip and let the power back in without locking up the wheel. And it's kind of like like a quick shifter or an auto flipper. That's the kind of sensation you get with it. It's such a nice feeling, and the engine braking on the bike is awesome. For such a small engine, you get a real good sensation and a good feel for the engine braking. And again, they're all little bits and pieces, but all together they make the bike such a fun bike to ride. Now, I've not done mega mileage today, but I've tried to mix it up a little bit, do some town and the main road stuff, just to get a balanced kind of feel for the bike overall. One thing I'll say though is I think this bike has to be ridden on the throttle stop through the gears, really. I don't think there's any half measures with it. I think you need to be on the power with it right the way to the stop. But I mean, that's not difficult to do anyway, because from no throttle to on the stop is about a quarter turn, which I've never experienced before on a bike. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this first impressions ride video on the Honda GB350S. If you own a 350, drop a comment below and let me know what your experiences are and thoughts are on the bike, if you've done any modifications, etc. Also, if you're looking to purchase a 350 and would like to know anything whilst I have the bike, drop a comment below and I'll do my best to answer your questions. For the next video, I'm going to set the 350 a challenge, something a little bit different from what I've done previously. So if you'd like to see how I get on with that, make sure you stick around and stay tuned to the next video. I hope you've all enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe below. Remember to keep it shiny side up, and I'll see you all in the next one.